Welcome back. It's always a busy place at the Kennedy Center here in Quincy. So from time to time, we love to have Tom Claspy, Director of Quincy Elder Services, stop on by and give us an update. That's what he's doing today. Hey, Tom, good to see you.
Joseph, always a pleasure.
Likewise.
Good to see you on this cold day.
I know, right? What happened?
Winter is upon us, I guess. Huh?
Big time, yeah. How's things going?
Things are good. I'm looking forward now. The election behind us. That 4 more years, hopefully. A lot of people don't realize that department heads are tied to administration, and there's always a possibility of you going when a new administration comes in. So I feel very fortunate to hopefully continue.
Actually, the Kennedy Center is a very busy polling place, right?
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's very busy. I think Squantum is still #1, but
right up there.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
Very good. Yep. So now that's over and done with. Moving forwards.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is on the agenda?
Okay, so there's lots of stuff. First of all, and you guys were down, Mark was down to film a presentation, and he would have noticed a tremendous amount of noise.
Yes.
It's always a little noisy, but it's nice noise. It's people laughing and joking and
piano playing and
piano
stuff.
playing and singing and all those wonderful things. This is a little bit more difficult. I know you followed when there was an appropriation made by the council to do some repairs on the building, and those repairs are happening right now.
Okay.
And what's happening really is underneath, the building was built in 1957, so there's some wear and tear. Mm-hmm. Those of us that were built in that area understand this, but so it's stuff that needed to be addressed, and we were fortunate the council was cooperative, helpful, and not cooperative, helpful, and we've secured the money, and now the work's begun. Unfortunately, there's a lot of concrete down there, there's a lot of steel, and that has to be kind of chipped away or jackhammered away, so it's noisy. It's noisy right now, and this is like phase 1. So they're moving from, if those that are familiar with the building, from around where the health department is, right now they're close to where our outer office is, where people sign up for things, about halfway through. And then it will continue moving towards Squantum and Marina Bay till we get underneath the gym. Once that is over with the chipping and everything else, it shouldn't be as noisy. We'll still be able to hear people working underneath, but one of the things, and I know I've said it here, and you've certainly heard it over the years, is with buildings, municipalities in general tend to neglect their buildings. They build beautiful buildings, and then there's no real foresight into how we're going to maintain that building. And one of the things that the mayor's been terrific about is continuing to shore up the buildings and making sure that they're safe. And so this is really it's a good thing. It's a difficult thing to get through.
Yeah. So is there a basement in that building, Tom?
There isn't a basement. It's like a crawl space.
Right.
Okay. It's built very close to the marsh. I don't think it's technically on marshland, but it's very, very close to it. And so it's on the building's on pillars.
I see.
I never get involved with the technical stuff. The engineers explain it, it goes right over my head.
Basically, they're fixing what foundation it has, so it lasts another 70 years.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, it's a great building. I often say if we were to design a senior center, it wouldn't be a lot different.
No kidding.
Yeah, in terms of the layout, the size of the classrooms and stuff, the fact that it's on one level, I mean, we've toyed with the idea of possibly going up, and that was kind of the catalyst for this whole thing. And that might still happen down the road. I don't know. It'd be a lot of money, but
you need an elevator, obviously, for sure.
Right.
Some kind of accessibility. That'd be a big issue.
Or move offices up and then free up that.
Keep the whole downstairs as the center. Interesting. Well, it was built as an elementary school, right?
It was. Yeah. Over the years, we have a nice little plaque with the history of the building, and there's been an awful lot of history there between the kids that had graduated from there to the Elks was there at one time.
Oh, right.
When they were building their place, and then Beechwood on the Bay was there for many
years.
And we're fortunate that Beechwood, of course, was involved with the Senior Olympics. That continues.
Right.
The volleyball team that we have that meets every Wednesday and is thriving, it was kept. They originally started with Beechwood, so that's nice. I wanted that sense
Still a
of
connection
tradition.
to
It's
the
good.
past.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. How long has the Kennedy Center been now, Tom?
2009.
No,
Yeah,
no, can't
isn't
be.
that amazing?
Is that right?
It is. It's
14
you know,
years? Wow.
It's absolutely amazing that it's been the time. You know, Joe, and I've often said, and I'm sure I've said it on this, like, I knew it would be a good thing for the community. And I'd seen other places with senior centers, and so I knew basically what they were, but I had no idea, like, the real effect that it has on some folks. Like,
Yes.
for some people, it's their lifeline. They'll tell me, I was suffering with depression before this, or particularly if they've lost someone close to them, a partner,
Yeah.
a spouse, you know, even a close friend, you know, they'll come in and they meet new friends, and very often you see people chatting, and you kind of assume they've known each other for, well, now maybe they have for 14
Well,
years.
right,
But,
yeah.
but you know, people come in and they make new friends, and it's nice.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was thinking about this too. It can also be a place for caregivers to kind of congregate, folks who are taking care of older folks at home, because that's a very stressful situation.
Right.
You know?
So today they have the Dementia Cafe. That'll be going on today, and it offers a little bit relief. Early on, when I was long before the Kennedy Center or anything else, when I was coming, I went to a workshop or an event that had a series of workshops, and one was on elder abuse, which I took. And one of the things that they stressed is that oftentimes it's a loved one that's a perpetrator, but it can be the neglect or just that they're stressed out to the max.
Right.
They don't see it as being abusive, you know, but like tying someone to the bed because they're getting up and they think this is the best way to deal with it and don't really have any relief. I mean, I think we've come an awful long way with education on those kind of things,
Right,
and
yeah.
there are agencies that help, but this is a perfect example. We want to get them in and have the care partners work with them and have a little outlet. They need that, and if it's just once a week, sometimes that makes all the difference in the world.
And they're not trained, skilled caregivers. You know, they're just
Correct.
trying to do the best they
Correct,
can for
correct.
their family.
And by no means, I mean, most people, you know, that's an extreme. What
course,
I mentioned was
yeah.
an extreme, but it does happen.
Yeah.
You know, so you never want it to get to that point.
Right, you
know,
want to
and-
give them an outlet, a place to reach
yeah,
out and get
yeah.
information.
And support. you
And
know,
education. And
just
support,
to
yeah.
see other people that are, you know, dealing with the same situation
Yep.
that you're dealing with is a great relief.
You're
I
not
think,
alone.
to people. Absolutely.
Yeah. So phase one of the renovation, how many phases in the renovation are there, Tom?
So that's a to be announced.
Okay.
No. You know, this will go on, I think, for the next few weeks.
Okay.
The next few weeks. The nice thing about it, like it's I shouldn't say nice thing about it. The thing that makes it easier to deal with is every part of the building isn't affected all at once.
Right, yep.
So right now they're close to my office, so you know it's very nice to be here, Joe. Really, I may stick around all day.
Hey, you're more than welcome, Tom.
No,
Your staff won't like you, though.
correct. So they're getting there,
Yeah.
and a few more weeks, I think, and that'll be finished, and then and it's probably really it'll probably be until the spring that the whole thing is completed, but it shouldn't be as difficult to deal with.
Okay,
You know,
all right.
so
Will
a
it
few
be
more
able to
weeks.
stay open, do you think, through the whole
Yeah,
time?
we you know, and that was the other thing that, you know, the mayor was concerned about and we were concerned about. Like, we dealt with COVID where we had to shut down
Yeah.
and then you had to regroup. And I mean, we're thriving. Our membership is up. We have people joining all the time.
That's great.
It's really good. So we didn't want to close down,
Sure.
you know. And the flip side of that is people can, understandably, I'm not complaining, but I think people can get annoyed, you know, with the noise. But it really was either, well, you know, do we shut down or do we look for alternative places, which is very limited. Now you're running around the whole city,
Right.
and you know that can be
Transportation's an
confusing for
issue.
people, you
Yeah.
know. So best thing to do, we thought, was just to try to deal with it as best we can, and you know, cross our fingers and hope it goes quickly.
Will there be anything on the inside of the building, do you know, in
Yeah.
terms of updates?
Well, we're always doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I hope to put in a new sound system for our musical group that meets every Thursday.
Great.
and possibly one in one of the other classrooms. Over the years, we've done that with grant money. So a couple of the media room, for instance, that has the computers and the movie has a beautiful, sound system for the movies. When we have speakers in the classroom, generally you don't necessarily need a speaker, but sometimes if there's someone who's quiet, or there are folks with hearing issues. So we'll have one in there too.
Okay.
So those will be the next things, and then we're going to look at it. There's a few landscape issues that have to go on too. That'll be happening in the spring. We had beautiful roses out there for so long, and 2009 we put them in, and they were blooming even in the winter.
Wow.
But this year they seem to take. And I talked to a few people that had roses, in the area too, and they seem to take. I don't know if there's a blight.
Oh, no kidding.
Or,
You'll have to get the Seaside Gardeners out there
issues.
to
Yeah.
take a look at them for
Absolutely. But we try to keep the place looking pretty. It's a pretty building,
Sure.
and it's so those things will be addressed too.
You brought a whole list of things you want to talk about. So
So
get to it.
talking about work and construction and all that, the Fall River Clubhouse has been under construction for quite some time.
Yeah.
They've now opened it up partially.
Yep.
And partially, I don't know what partially means, but partially. And we're able to bring back some programs there. Right now we have exercise on Mondays, 10:30 at 11:30. Hopefully soon, we have not begun this yet, but the South Shore Center for the Visually Impaired, as you know, has been a program that far predates me. Years ago, they called it the Blind Center.
Yep.
So we're hoping to start that up again. That'll be Tuesdays and Fridays. We're still working on the times because Recreation also has some programs in there, so
see. Okay.
we're trying to coordinate with them. But I'm really looking forward to having the Visually Impaired Center. It's been a long time since they've been able to meet.
That's great.
It's a great group. And the Commission for the Blind is going to be coming in soon to kind of evaluate and give us a little direction on how we'd like to move forward with that. I think in the future, it's always been, and Peg O'Connor's just done fantastic work over the years with the folks there, and we've had machinery, but now the machinery is outdated. So that machinery would be like for a person who's legally blind, but they can't read the newspaper or something like that. So they have these particular machines that assist in that. So hopefully we'll be able to get some more technology in there to assist.
Excellent.
So I'd love to see it be the social thing that it's always been,
Right.
and then even more of the technical kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know we've talked
That's
about
our
it in the
goal.
past as a satellite senior center
Yeah.
at the Fall River Clubhouse. right?
Yeah, and we've done, and so there'll be other programs too that'll be starting up, and it's just nice to be back there.
Yes.
Keep it up. We don't want to lose the integrity of the Kennedy Center.
Sure.
I mean, that'll always be the main base.
Yep.
Because, as you know, for a long time we had operations all over the place.
You
And that-
kind of
that-
nomads around the city.
yeah, and that doesn't work well.
No.
But I think it does make sense to have something on that end of the city where, particularly where there's a big housing building right there.
Certainly.
In the point, and those folks even in nice weather can walk down.
Yeah, I kind of liken it to the library system. You've got the main branch, which is of course
Right.
the most active, but
Yeah.
I mean, North Quincy is
Yeah.
certainly very active,
Absolutely.
and Adam Shore and Wollaston
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that.
You go right ahead. I didn't copyright it. It's all yours.
The other thing too, if I can mention
please.
too, we have on December 13th another holiday party. This one sponsored by Baker, Braverman, and Barbadoro, a law firm, a local law firm. They always do a nice job. They've done it numerous times in the past. And that's going to be on December 13th. There is still some room available for that. So if the folks want to call the main numbers, which is 617-376-1506, they can still get their foot in the door on
Okay.
that one. Promises to be a nice free lunch. So, someone will tell you there was no such thing as a free lunch. There is.
at the Kennedy Center.
Lots of them. Lots of them.
Speaking of, is the mayor doing his Thanksgiving dinner?
He is.
Yep.
He is. We're at capacity for that.
Okay.
But that's Wednesday before Thanksgiving,
Yep.
so this week. And it'll be up at the Elks as it has been. You know, we had difficulty a couple years back where there was a major gas issue and they had to shut down.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Oh.
and you know, but the people are great, you know, and the Elks were terrific to us, and the folks really just dealt with it. All worked out in the end. And we certainly don't. It was one of those freak things that happens once every 100 years.
Sure.
It had nothing to do with the Elks. It was the area.
Okay.
It was-
Oh, is
it
that
was-
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a huge issue that had to shut down their ovens. And,
Huh. Cold turkey that year.
Exactly. But everyone dealt with it nicely. You know, it's one of the things that's so great about the Kennedy Center, and I like working with seniors. For the most part, it's good stuff. It's happy stuff. They're
Well,
appreciative.
You know, they're able to put things in perspective when you
Yeah.
get to that point in
Yeah.
life, and you know, things like, oh gosh, we can't heat up our turkey dinner
Right.
is really
Yeah.
small in
Yeah.
comparison to what they've
Exactly.
been through.
Exactly.
A lot of them are veterans, have
Yeah.
seen
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah, no
things in
doubt.
their lives.
No doubt, the depression, everything. You know, you can go on and on.
Right.
No doubt.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they can be
Yeah.
an inspiration. They
Yep.
teach us a few things for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Let's see, you closed obviously Thanksgiving and the day after too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
same thing around Christmas time.
I don't know what the Christmas. I haven't even looked
All
at
right,
it yet,
okay.
too. But it generally is whatever the city. You know, we operate by human resources.
City
Whatever
calendar.
they put out is the city
Gotcha.
calendar. Yeah. So City Hall would be closed, and
All right.
would be closed too.
Got to send you back to the noisy.
Oh boy!
Office, I'm
All right.
sorry, Tom.
That's all right. I'm going to stop at CVS, get some earplugs.
Thanks for coming by. Good to talk to you.
It's always a pleasure, Joe.
Very
Thanks for
happy,
having us.
healthy Thanksgiving to
Thank
you and your
too.
family. Thank you very
too.
much.
Appreciate it.